Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and in this video we are going to learn about Firebase push notification for Flutter. So as you can see in our application, in the current application, it's a very simple application where I have this center text which says waiting for notifications. This is the single screen, and every time we receive a notification we will print data from that notification over here. That's all we will do in this application. So as you can see in our application, we only have two files. One is main.dot and one is homepage.dot. So in the main.dot, all we are doing is we are just calling this homepage.dot in home, and in homepage.dot we have the scaffold widget set with the app bar. As you can see over here, Firebase notifications, which I have set over here. And then we have the center text that is waiting for notification, it says, and it's aligned to center for the screen and for the text as well, right? So before getting into the coding part, so that we can receive the notifications, let's understand how push notification for Firebase work for Android applications. So in this video we will be focusing on Android. For iOS I will be creating another video because it takes up a little bit more time than Android, and also you need to have your Apple developer account set in order to receive push notification in iOS devices. So let's focus on Android for this video. So before getting into coding part, let's look into how Firebase push notification work for Flutter. So as you can see, for push notification, we have three states in which we have to handle our push notification. One is when app is in foreground, means you are using the application, it is in the foreground, that is what is visible on your phone screen, so that is when we call it foreground. When app is in background, like when you were using your application but you decided to look in some other application, or you just minimized your application, right? So the application is running but it is in background, right? It's not in the foreground, it's not visible on the screen. In that scenario app is in background, so we will see how to handle push notifications in that scenario. And then the last one is when app is in terminated state, right? So app is in terminated state means your phone is either locked or you have not used this application from long time, right? So the OS has decided to kill the application, or you manually have killed the application. So in that scenario the app is in terminated state and your phone is locked or maybe something else. So in that scenario, how we handle push notification, right? So these are the three scenarios with which we'll be doing all the testing. So when app is in foreground, we handle the push notification using this on message method, which is given through our Firebase messaging dependency. So to implement push notification using Firebase in Flutter, we need to have these three dependencies added to our Flutter application. One is Firebase core, that is for any Firebase application you need to have it so that you can initialize your Firebase. Another one is Firebase messaging. So all these methods you see over here, on message opened app, on background message, on initial message, all these methods are from Firebase messaging, which basically handles the push notification from Firebase. And then the last one is Firebase local notification, which I will explain in a bit. So as I said, for when app is in foreground, we will receive the notification in this method that is called on message. So we will call this method using this Firebase messaging dependency, and in this method we will receive any message, any notification sent through Firebase push notification when app is in foreground. Now the other state is app is in background. So when app is in background, we will handle push notification using two methods. One is on message opened app and another one is on background message. So on background message is called as soon as the message is received. So as soon as the message is received, this on background message will be called, and you will have some message, some data, some message payload in with you in your code, right? So you can do whatever you want to do in that scenario with the message. Another thing is, let's say the message has come, and as the app is in background state, so user clicks on the message. So when user clicks on the message, this method gets called, that is on message opened app. This gets called when user clicks on the notification. So in the notification tray, when user sees that there is a message from this application, they will click on the message and then this method will be called. So any handling related to that, you can handle it in this method. And then app terminated is the last scenario which we will handle, right? So that is, there are two methods through which we can handle the scenario. One is on background message, which we used in when app is in background as well, and the other one is get initial message method. So these two methods we use when app is in terminated state. So the on background message will be called as soon as we receive the message, and get initial message will be called when user clicks on the notification. So when user clicks on the notification, user lands on our application, and in the application this method gets called get initial message. You will have all the notification payload and you can do whatever you want to do with your notification, right? So we understood that we have three scenario: foreground, background, and terminated, and these are the methods through which we can handle on message for foreground, on background message and on message open app for background, and on background message and get initial message for app terminated state. Right now, this local notification plugin, that is the last dependency we have, Firebase local notification. This gets used because when app is in foreground, we do not receive any message in the tray or or as a heads up message. So when I say heads up message, I'm talking about the banner type of notification you get on top of the app, right? So which looks something like this, right? So that we do not get from Firebase. So to get that, we use this external library, that is Firebase local notification, to get that message, to get that banner on top of our application. So this will handle that. Using this, we will get that proper heads up message for our Flutter application. So that's all. That is what I wanted to explain you before we get into the coding. So let's get into it. Let's go to Firebase first and create our application and set up it for our Android application, right? So this is our Firebase console, console.firebase.google.com. Click on project, right? Add new project and enter your project name. So I'll say Firebase. So this is my project name, and you cannot use these, so let's not use it, and I will give like uh, capitals. Okay, and then continue. Enable Google Analytics if you want if you want Google Analytics for your project, and then select an account. We will select the default account and then create the project. So our Firebase application is ready. We can click on this continue button now, and it will take us to the dashboard screen, and you can see all these services which is available from Firebase for you for your application, right? So as you can see, we have to add our application. Get started by adding Firebase to your application. So we will click on Android and we have to enter our package name. So to get the package name, you have to go in over here in VS Code, go to Android section, in the app, in SRC, in the main, we have Android manifest.xml file. So let's just copy this package name and we will paste it over here. Everything else is optional, so we will ignore all of these and click on register app, and it will give you a config file to download, which is a .json file, and we have to keep it inside app folder in the Android folder. So let's click on it and download it, and we will drag it to our application, and let's go to this app level folder and then drop it over here. And you can see there is some brackets and number also, so we have to remove it. So remove that so that it is only Google services.json, and that should be good enough. Okay, and now let's click on next, and you have Firebase SDK. There are some steps you have to follow to set up the SDK, right? So what we need to do is go to project level build Gradle. So when we say project level, let's close this app level file, and we are in project level build Gradle. This is the project level build Gradle. And repository Google, we already have it. Dependencies, as you can see, we have these dependencies, we don't have the Google services, so copy it and let's paste it over here. And then this is also, we have it here, repository Google again. And now this is done, and we have to go to app level build Gradle. There is a project level build Gradle, which is this, and then this is the app level build Gradle, which is inside the app folder. And in this, if we go, you can see apply plugin com.android application. I think we do have it over here, so we don't have to add it. We don't have this com.google.gms, so let's add it into a new line. And then in the dependencies, we have to add these two dependencies, which I don't think so we have it. So just go to dependency folder and add these dependencies just after. Oh, now we have all the dependencies added for our Android application. Let's click on next and then continue to console. So our Firebase application for Android is added. As you can see, this is our application bundle ID, which we can see over here, the package ID. So that's how you integrate the Firebase uh, application to your Flutter application. And there is one problem, that is min SDK version that is set to 16, but Firebase only support minimum as I believe 19 or something, but let's keep it 22 so that we don't get into any problem, and that should be good enough for our application as well. So this should be good. Now, as I told you, we have three dependencies we need to add in our PubSpec YML to receive the notification. One is Firebase Core, one is Firebase Messaging, and one is Firebase Local Notifications. So let's add those. So I already got these packages ready for me. So I will just copy it from here and paste it after this Cupertino, right? And let the Flutter Puppet do its magic. And you can also go to this Dart packages, and over here you can search for Firebase Core and it will give you the package. And I think I have the latest one, 1.10.6, and that is what we have over here. So you can see when whatever is the latest for you, you can get it from pub.dev, get it for all these three, the latest one, and then use it in our application. So let's close it. I think our Flutter pubget is done. And as you can see, we have this generated file from Firebase, which will do its magic and communicate between Firebase cloud and our application. So we don't have to worry about this thing. So let's just close it. So let's set up our Firebase. Let's initialize Firebase from main.dart. So what we have to do is we have to call Firebase dot initialize app, and this is an asynchronous call, so we will write async and we will write await, and let's close it with a semicolon. And also we will have to write a Flutter widget binding, so widget Flutter binding dot ensure initialized. So this will make sure that our Firebase is initialized before our app has run, right? So in the home page, now that we have initialized our Firebase, now we can go ahead and call these methods. These methods we can call to receive our notification in foreground, in background, and in terminated state. So let's do it for foreground first. So we will call these methods inside our init state, and inside over here we can say Firebase messaging, and then you see we have these two methods. So we will call this on message, and on this we have something called listen. So this is what we'll do, and inside we will handle our notification. So this event will have our notification title, notification body, any data it has, then it will have everything. So what we will do, we have to update this text whenever we receive a notification, right? So let's make it let's make a variable for it. So we'll say string notification message, msg I'll say, and equals this message which we were hard coding. So we will use this over here now. Let's place it over here, and we can't use const because we are using this notification message. Okay, and now we will use this notification message over here. We will set it over here, and we will say we will use our $, curly braces, event dot notification dot, and I'll say let's print the title. Also the notification comes back, that is of optional type. So we can either force and wrap it, or we can check whether it is null and then use it. So the better option is you should check whether it's null or not, and when it is not null, then only use this exclamatory mark to unwrap it. Otherwise, if it is null, then you will get into problem. So because it is a sample application, we'll just go ahead and do it, because I know that it will always have some value, because I will only pass it. Let's print the title as well, sorry, the body as well. And also I will say I am coming from foreground. Okay, so it will say what the title, the body of the notification, and then it'll say that hey, this message is coming from foreground. So we will set it to notification message. And also let's not forget that we have to set it in the set state, otherwise our notification will not get updated. So let's set up our Firebase initial message as well, otherwise it might create any problems. So Firebase messaging, not the on message, we want initial instance dot, I'm not sure why it's not giving me the auto connect. Okay, get initial message. So this is the method we want. And then so we use this on message, we use the get initial message. Let's call this on message open as well. This on background message, you cannot call it inside your class. This is a global method, so you have to call it outside your class. So we will do it now, but let's initialize all other methods. So we called on message, we called get initial message for terminated state, and let's call this on message open app. So let's, and this terminated state also I want to print that as well. So let's do that as well. So what we'll do then, and then in this I don't want to call any function, I want to write over here itself. And then the same thing I'll do over here in set state. We can change it to event, and this should be fine. Let's do quick fix and a null check. Okay, we have to do a null check on event as well, so that is fine, we can do it. But you should always do the null check first, because I'm sure that I'll be sending some data, that's why I have force unwrapped it. So that is fine. Let's use our last method. So on message opened app dot, and this also has a listen method, and then just same thing, we will just copy and paste. And this is not coming from foreground, that is like terminated state, and this is from background. So every time we get notification, we go to these methods. So this will be called when in terminated state, and this will be called in the foreground state, and the last one will be called in the background state. And the last thing, we have to set up this on background message. So this is where we will receive our messages, and on message open and get initial message, that will be called when we will click on those messages, right? So let's set up that as well. So that we will set up in our main.dart. So in the main.dart, what you have to do right after initializing our Firebase, and we will say Firebase messaging dot on background message, and then it takes a method, right? It takes a method which will be of future type, right? So we will create that method over here. That's why I wanted to create my method over here, so that it will be visible as soon as we see it, because we have to initialize it in our main itself, right? Main method itself. So let's create our future void function, right? And we'll call it background handler. Okay, and this will have remote message, so message, and this would be an async, right? And yeah, so in this I'll just print my message, so we won't do anything over here, and then I can use this method inside over here. So we can just pass it over there, and that is it. So that is how we set up all these four methods, actually basically four methods. So one on message we set up in the home screen. In the init state, this is the on message, which will be called when the application is in foreground state, and that we are just setting up our notification message. Similarly, the background state, when user clicks on the message in the background state, this method will be called. And when user is in terminated state and they click on the the message, the notification, then they will come in this method. Okay, so let's close the application and run it again, and then test it from our Firebase. So let's run it. Okay, so our application is running, but I can see there is an exception, and that is the null check operator in this terminated state, because this event might be a null, and we are setting it in the set state. So let's just check it. If we will do an if condition, if event is not equals to null, then only we will do all these things. So let's keep it over here, and now we can remove this as well. And you can do a nested check and check it for notification as well, because that would be better scenario to do. And then all our issues should be resolved and the application should be running properly. Okay, now there's no issues. Okay, and if you can see, it says that Flutter Firebase messaging background service is started. That is because we have set up this on background message handler over here. So that is why it says that it it is now looking for any message, even if it is in background state. And yeah, and then it is like an different isolate itself. So that is why we have to set it up like this, like outside any other class. Okay, so now we can go ahead and test it. So let's just go to our Firebase, and if you can see over here, we have in the engage, we have this cloud messaging. So let's go to cloud messaging and send your first message. So we will go right here and let's create our first message. So we will say hello in the title, and we will say in the text, we will say how you doing, and then question marks. You can put some image as well, and it will appear at the side, and in the expanded view it will look like this. So that is what we will not put any image, we will just keep it simple, and click on next, and it will ask you to select the application. This is the application, select it, click on next. We'll say send it right now, and click on next. No need to do anything over here. You can set more details, you can set more data over here. We will be setting up channel as well. So as of now we can just leave it and click on review and publish. So it says campaign was successfully started and it's completed. So in some time we should be able to get our first Firebase notification over here, and then this should get updated. So it takes some time, it does take some time, it doesn't come immediately. For me it has taken like sometimes it's take 2 minutes, sometimes it's take 5 minutes, and yeah, it depends on the server, right? So let's wait for it. So as you can see, we have received our foreground notification. It says, hello, how you doing? I am coming from foreground, not foreground. There should be an E over here. Okay. So our foreground notification is working, but as you could see, we did not receive the notification in the notification tray, or we did not get it even on the banner, like the heads up notification, right? Like we used to get. But that's all right, we can fix it, we will fix it in using local notifications. But let's just go ahead and test our background state as well. So when I move to background, if I move to background and go to my cloud messaging, and let's click over here and duplicate the notification because we don't want to create the notifications from start again. And then just click on next, and over here select now because we want to test the notification now itself. And then next, these are all optional, so we can leave it, review and publish. So it is completed and we should get the background notification in some time. So it takes some time. Let's clear this and wait for our background notification so that we can see all the messages in the console for background notification. So let's wait for background notification now. So we have received the notification. As you can see, it is written over here. This is message from background and these. So as I told you, for background notification, we get a message in the on background message method, like the method which we called from main over here, and we call this background notification handler, right? And over here, so we printed these, right? So this is what we are seeing over here. This is a message from background, hello, how you doing? This is what we printed and we can see it. So that's what I told you, we first get the message in on background message, and then when we click on this message, when we click on this message, it will go to our on message opened app, this block of code, right? So we should be able to see I am coming from background with title and body. So let's click it, and you can see hello, how you doing? I am coming from background. So that is also working. So let's test the last state, that is the terminated state. So we will terminate the application, we will just swipe it up and the application is not running. So we won't be able to see any logs over here, but it will happen in the same way. So it will first go to on background message, there it will just print the message, but we won't be able to see it. So that's of no use for us. But in many scenario, if you want to do some background task, you can start some background task from here. And then when we click on the message in the terminated state, it will open this get initial message, and from there we will print I am coming from terminated state. So notice that in all these scenario, as of now, we are only getting the message, only getting the notification in this notification tray. We are not getting our heads up notification, or whatever you call it, like the banner notification. But that is all right, we will fix it. So first of all, let's test it for our last state, that is terminated state. So we will go to our cloud messaging and we will again duplicate this notification. Click on next, click on next. Over here, select now, click on next, click on next, and then click on review and publish. So the campaign was successful and we should be able to receive our notification over here in some time. So I don't know why it's sometimes it says scheduled, but as you can see, we have already received the notification over here. And when we click on this notification, we should be able to see that I am coming from terminated state. So that is working. Hello, how are you doing? I am coming from terminated state. So okay, so we have tested all the three scenarios. The app is app in foreground, app in background, and app in terminated state, and we are getting our notifications. But the only problem is we are not getting the heads up notification, the banner which we get on the top over here, right? So for that, what we have to do is we have to set the local notification. So we already have the package, so let's just set it. Okay, so to let's set up the local notification, and to do so, let's create a new folder, and we can say services, and I will create a new file and I'll call it local notifications dot. Okay, and then let's create a class and call it local notification service. That's all. And what we will do, we will first create our Flutter local notification plugin instance, right? So we will create all the variable as static so that we can access it and from anywhere easily. So Flutter local notification plugin, see, it has come, and we will create our variable. So let's create our notification plugin variable, and then we will just set it up. So Flutter, oh not filter, Flutter notification plugin, initialize it, and this should be it. And then we will create a initialize method, and we will initialize our local notification. So we will create this also as static void, we'll just call it initialize. Okay, and we will call we will create an initialization settings. So for that, final initialization settings, and then initialization settings variable, and then create initialization settings. And we will, so you can set it up for multiple all these platforms: Android, iOS, Linux, macOS. We will set it up for Android because we are focusing on Android in this one. And then we'll say Android. See, Android initialization settings, it's already showing us in the options, right? So let's just click it. Let's just click the next one where it shows what we have to do, and we have to give a default icon, some icon through which it can test, right? So we can give our, so this is Android application, right? So in Android we have our IC underscore launcher, we call it. So that is what we will use it. So in the resources, if you see, we will have these IC launcher, right? So this is what we will call it from here. So I will take this one. So I will call it at the rate minmap and slash IC underscore launcher. So when we will see the notification, it will use this icon to show those notification. That is all we are doing right over here. Okay, so once this is set up, what we have to do, we use this notification plugins and then say initialize, and we can give this initialization settings which we created in this. So we have to pass the initialization settings, so that's what we passed. And then so when you click on that notification, right, what happens? So to handle that, in this method itself we have on select notification. So on select notification, it will give you the notification string. So whatever is the payload, it will return. So I'll just say payload, right, payload, and let it be, it returns it in the optional format. So let's keep it like that, and we will have our, and we will just print it over here. We won't do anything, we will just print it if there is anything. So if payload is there, it will print, otherwise it will say null. So the payload, actually it comes it from here, like when we clicked, if you click, it still shows schedule. So if you just refresh the page, it will say. So if I just duplicate it and I can show you that you can set additional options. So here, this is what it will come as payload, right? Okay, so this is done. So this was for the initialization, right? So to show the notification on the foreground, when the application is in foreground and we are not seeing the heads up notification, right? To do so, to get that, only to show it on the foreground, what we will do, we'll write another method to show the notification on the foreground state. So let's say static void, and we will call it show notification on foreground, ground. Okay, and we will receive remote message, and we'll call it message. Once we will receive the foreground notification, we will call this function and we'll pass this message, and then we will show it in our in our application. So to do so, we will use this notification plugin dot show this method, and we will need id, and for this message we will use message dot notification dot title, right? And we have to force and wrap it, and the same thing over here, and we will just call our body over here, right? And for this id, what we will do, we will use our date time dot now, because I mean it has to be a unique number, so that's what we need. So we will just use datetime dot now. I think I have this capital datetime dot now, and we need an integer, so we will just use this microseconds, right? So that should be fine. And then this notification details has to be defined, so we will say notification details, right? And then in this we have to say which type of notification we are sending. So we are sending Android notification, right? And then Android notification details, we will select this, and we will pass our data. So let's just put it in outside so that we can see it properly. Let's take it from here and create a new variable over here. So we will call it final notification details, right? And then just call it. And over here we have to pass some details like the notification details, and we will say so if I just use like this, yeah, see over here it will tell you what and all it requires. So it requires a channel ID and channel name. Yeah, so channel ID is something we have to define. So if you see over here, we are getting this message also, missing default notification channel metadata in Android manifest. Default value will be used. So this issue is coming because we are not specifying a channel, so that has to be specified. So that is what we will use over here, Android notification channel. So this has to be some channel ID. So we can use any unique string. So what I will do, I will use our Android this package name, right? So this is a package name, so I can use this as notification channel ID, or you can use any unique number. So I'll just use this channel ID, and channel name, I'll just say my application name is the channel name. So that should be fine. We can give some more details like what is the importance of this notification. So something like this, importance, and I can say it has the max importance. So just say importance dot max, so that it always takes it on priority. And we have also priority, so we can say priority dot high priority. We'll say high priority. Okay, and then just give it a close it. I think I have extra. Okay, Now it should be fine. Okay, and now I can use this notification details uh, over here. Yes, and close this as well. So as soon as I save it and all the issues are gone, this is automatically formatted. Okay, great. So our local notification settings are done. So I think I named it very wrong. I named it location notification. So let's just correct it because we don't want to call it location notification. It is local notification, and yeah, over here also local notification. I'm not sure why I wrote location notification, so that's my fault. Okay, so this is ready. Now I can use it in my home page, and I can call it over here in the init state. Before calling anything, I'll just initialize the local notification service, and we had created everything static, so I can just initialize it like this. And then in the foreground state, after getting the notification, first thing I will say is, I will say once we have the notification, I'll say local notification service dot show notification on foreground, and this is our message. That's it, and we can do it before setting the state. Okay, so now this should be working. So we will test our foreground notification first. So let's run the application. Okay, the app is running now, but it's showing us an error. It says that make sure this file is available. I think I did a spelling mistake again. So I'll go here, and it's not minimap. It is mip. See over here, it's MIPMAP. So I'm an iOS developer, so I'm not much aware of these things. So apologies for that. Let's rerun the application, and it should be fine. We should not get any issues now. Okay, now that's fine. Let's go to our cloud messaging, and I don't want here. Let's go back, and we will duplicate our notification and make sure to give our channel. Oh, okay, one more thing I forgot is we were getting one issue, right, that in Android manifest we have to set the channel as well. There was one issue, right? So uh, like we have set over here this channel in our service, local notification service, this channel we have set, right? So for this we have to do one more thing. We have this code. This is this metadata. So in this we have to set the channel ID. So go to Android manifest. In the metadata, you see there are intent and metadata. So just below this one we will add one more metadata, and over here you have to give your channel ID. So the channel ID what we selected was our package name itself, right? So we will just use that, remove this and use this. So this is how it notifies, it identifies that this is the channel ID for which we have to send the notification. So let's just rerun the application. Let's not just refresh it, let's rerun it because this is a major change in the notification. So let's rerun it. Okay, so the app is running now. We don't have any more issues, and now we can go ahead and send the notification. So click on next, and scheduling is now, just wanted to make sure. Okay, additional option, we have to specify our channel now. So whatever channel you have given over here, so let's go and copy this package name, give a channel. Okay, and key value you can just give like message and value something, right? Something will be coming. Okay, I want to enable the sound and review and publish. So now our app is in foreground, and we have sent the notification. Now we can see the notification in as the like the heads up notification or as the banner, right? So let's clear this and wait for the notification to come. Okay, now you can see that hello, how you doing? That is coming as the banner, right? And we have this text updated as well. So now our heads up notification is also coming and we can see that in our tray as well, right? So when we click it, it does the same thing. So our foreground notification is working. Now we can go to background and let's do this again. Duplicate notification, click on next, next, say now, next, next. This is fine. We can just send, publish, and we should be able to get the notification and get some data over here as well. So clear it and wait for the notification. Okay, so our hello, how you doing? In the background state, it is coming and you can see it says this is message from background and we are able to see this, what we printed in the main dot dot, this message, right? So close it, okay. And then when we click on it, it should go as it was working earlier. It should go to background state message, this one, and we should be able to see it. So let's click on it and I'm coming from background. So this is also working. Now let's terminate the application and we should be able to see the heads up notification as we were able to see for foreground and background state. So let's test it for terminate state as well. So duplicate notification, click on next, next, say now, next, next, and then yeah, this is it. So this message which we are sending, right, this also you can get from your remote message, the event which you are getting, right? So from that you can get this also. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's just first test it in the terminated state, and because the application is terminated, we won't be able to see any logs, but we should be able to see the notification over here in our emulator. Okay, so we got the notification and our app is in terminated state as you can see, and we got the heads up notification, and when we click on it we should be able to see that I'm coming from terminated state. Okay, so I'm coming from terminated state, so it is working. Okay, so we have tested all the cases, all the scenarios. I just wanted to show you one more thing is in the notifications, right, in the any notification, as you could see, we were adding a payload. So this is called payload message something. So you can send many payload, many key value over here, and how we access it over here is let's say over here when you get this remote message. So in this remote message you will like you are accessing notification dot body, you can access something called event dot data. So in this data you can just say your payload name, your key value, right? So this is message. So with this you will get the message, right? So this is what you have to do. And we did not do one thing in our local notification, right? The message, the payload over here which we are printing, it won't be able to print it because we are not passing it over here. So in this we have to pass the payload as well. So you can say payload, and then over here I can say this message, right? Message dot data, and then I can enter my key value. So this is my key value, right? Something sorry, this message is my key value, so I will put it over here. And then when you run the application, and when the application is in foreground, so this show method we are only calling it when the application is in foreground, if you remember this. So when application is in foreground state, then only we are calling it. So this is when it will send the payload, and on click of this payload we are just printing it, right? You can go to new screen and you can do many other things over here, but we are just printing it. So we can test it. Let's run our application and test it in the foreground, right? So let's run it. Okay, so our app is running now, and what we can do, we will leave it in the foreground and go over here, and let's not send the same notification. Let's duplicate it, duplicate the notification, and click on next, next. I will do now, next, next. And over here, message, I will say, I am the payload. Okay, so we can see it, and click on review and publish. And if you go here, yeah, so as soon as the notification comes, we will have to click on it, then only we will be able to get this print. So let's wait for the notification and be attentive, and as soon as the notification comes, I will click on it. So this is only for the foreground case, because in the background and in the terminated state, we already have the when we get the notification, when we click on it, we already have the message methods to handle it, right? So let's wait for it. Okay, so the notification has come. Let's click on it. Click. Okay, I am the payload. See, so this is what we received when we were showing, we send the payload, we received it. So basically we received it from here, from home page, from foreground, and then we send the payload to our show notification method, which we have only created in our notification local notification or dot file, right? And then when on click of it, while they're initializing the notification, local notification, we had set up over here, so we could see this message. So instead of showing it in the console, you can do so many things. You can go to new screen or whatever is the requirement of your project. So this is it for this video. I think we have covered all the things which are required to run push notification in Android phone. If you run into any issue, because while doing this I ran into many issues, so if you run into any issue, just let me know in the comment section and I'll try to help you out. And do let me know how you like the video, and let me know if you have any topic, any suggestion for my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.